Let's talk about the risks. It's very important. Very important. So I will, after this webinar, I'll send you an email with some links, and that will have the other side of the equation. So CBC just had in the front burner, they had a podcast, and they interviewed some big shot mortgage agent. They do a lot of mortgages, and they have good visibility. And based on that, basically in the next 24 months, 45% of all Canadian mortgages are up for renewal. 45%, 2 years. Big, almost 1 in 2, right? One of the other things that he talked about was when it comes to holding on to their homes, Canadians are very resourceful, very resourceful. And the examples are most Canadians have significant equity in their houses. We know this. If they bought anything before 2020, they have good equity in the house. The only people who bought at the peak in February 2022 are actually underwater, are in trouble. Most people do. So when it comes to renewal, so right now, let's say you're paying 2.5% interest rate. Oh, your mortgage is getting renewed next month. Now it's going to be 6%. Wow, 2.5% to 6% in terms of payment, that's maybe 50, 60% more payment than what you're doing today. What people are doing is they know it's a short-term phenomenon. Obviously, rates are never going to be 2%. There, we think it's going to be hovering around 3 to 4% in long term. That's what you should use for planning. Again, this is what experts are telling. But what that homeowner is doing is they are they are actually renewing their mortgage and taking their amortization from 15 years. They had 15 years more left to pay off their mortgage. They are increasing that to 20 years or 25 years or 30 years to basically reduce the payment in short term. Okay, people are renting basements, people are renting room. Like this client of ours, she's moving to the basement after being a homeowner for 20 years, moving to the basement with her husband and renting the house upstairs for $4,000 because basement she was only getting $1,500. She will keep her home, and we said, keep your home. Please don't sell it. If you sell it, you're gonna never be able to buy this home again. So people are very resistant. The other thing that this podcast was saying that imagine you're getting a rate of 6% today. Now, next fall, you may be getting a 4% rate. That'd be pretty nice, actually. Talk to anybody, say, hey, listen, you want to buy a home? I'll give you 4% interest rate. What do you think? They say, oh my God, no problem at all. No problem. I take it any day. I'll take 4.5. Basically, the rates are overall the picture they're painting is not a crazy, scary picture. It's going to be painful. It's not going to be not painful. It's going to be painful for the consumer, just like our client is going through. It's going to be hard, but it's not forever. That change is coming, not into not too long. Any other questions? Here we have.
We have a ton of questions. Okay, I'll hit off the first one. So you think the best time to buy in the GTA will be January, February next year, maybe even March, when everyone else is still thinking about it?
Yeah, let's have the data prove it. I will go to in the next slide. I'm going to cover that. And that's the most asked question is, when should I buy? And what does the data tell? And we'll show you something very cool that will kind of paint a picture, because I want to, because it's short term, so short term, the next 3 months, we're going to look at the inventory today also. Let's look at the inventory. Let's look at the souls, and let's figure that out. It's not just a math question of interest rates, but it's also a question of inventory. What do we have today? Is it too much? And how long will it take to flush out of the system so that the prices kind of start going up again? So we'll look at it in the next slide.
Got it. Another one is very similar to that, so we'll just go to the next one. How are we supposed to know the fair market value ourselves as a buyer or seller? Who's responsible for this?
Okay, fair market value. Great question, guys. You're jumping ahead, but let's cover fair market value. I want to explain fair market value to many people because they may not know that, but I want to explain that to them. It's if one thing you can take from this webinar, it doesn't matter when you buy tomorrow or next year or 10 years from now. One thing you take from this webinar is please understand the concept of fair market value. Super important. And I don't think it's been done properly today in the marketplace. It's not. And you as a consumer should be knowing about that and should be empowered. I will show you the concept of it, and then we can go deep into it. Okay, anything else?
And then the last question is, based on your knowledge, what are homeowners doing to keep mortgage payments low when forced to renew with higher rates?
So we talked about some of those things. So they are changing the amortization time period to from, let's say they have 20 years or 25 years left or 15 years left, they're going back to 30 years because they have enough equity in the homes. Many people are renting their rooms, basements. They're doing some are doing line of credit to basically take some money out so that they can pay higher payments for a short term. There's a bunch of things. And there are people who are selling. There's no question about it. There are people who are selling, and they are selling here in the core, and they are moving out. They're moving out. They can buy a good place and same size, but they save some money, and then they can kind of reduce their payments. So people are doing a bunch of things, but it's varying all over the place. But they're finding some creative solutions to that.
Yeah, I mean, we just had that same situation in May. We had that lady in Brampton. She, sold her place for 1.2. Originally from the builder did not touch it in 27 years, and she just went to Oakville. She wanted to be close to the family and downsize, so she has a good, 600,000-700,000,
Yeah,
on her accounts to retire. So, not everybody is in that situation, but I think like it was over half of homeowners have long-term mortgages for the past 20-30 years, or they're almost paid off. So it's a very big chunk of people in that situation.
100%. And like the mortgage renewal of the next 2 years, it's a half of the Canadians. And if by the end of next year, if we are going from 6%, 6.25 to 4.25, that's a huge breather for people. Huge. I think there's 6 months of pain ahead, 6 months, and then it's going to get better.
Thank you for watching this video. The mission of Real Estate Center of Excellence Group is to empower consumers to make high quality, timely real estate decisions. Every month, we'll be updating our real estate market forecast. If you like this type of content, please hit the like button or share this video with somebody and subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much.